stage. There we go. Bring you to stage. Hi.
Woo, hi.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm giving. Oh my god, a little Burger King hat.
Oh, love it, love it. The queen, because you are also a queen of writing. So you are featured in a book about Donald Trump. Jen,
Yes.
tell us about that.
So there's a new book that came out on June 18th called Apprentice in Wonderland. Has a longer title. Look, Apprentice in Wonderland: How Donald Trump and Mark Burnett Took America Through the Looking Glass. It's by Ramin Setudeh. Oh, I'm saying his last name right. I just know Ramin. He's the co-editor-in-chief of Variety, so he has a ton of experience. He's been covering reality television forever. He's known Trump for a long time, and he interviewed me, and I was like, he said I was in it, and he was going to send me a copy, and he didn't. So hey, but
he better. I hope he's listening to this. He better send you a copy.
But I was like, I wonder if I made it. And I was like, well, let me just get the audio book because I have like a bazillion Audible credits. And I was like just scanning through, and I guess I'm in chapter 10 when they talk about how in season 6, which was my season, we moved the show to Los Angeles. So, yeah, it kind of opens. It's strange. So this is the weird thing about when you're quoted in an article or a book. Like, I think Ramin did a great job with the book. I think it's interesting because, like, it definitely what he was trying to basically explain how The Apprentice made Donald Trump a presidential candidate, and talked entirely about basically like The Apprentice and the celebrity, not any of the other angles really, although obviously like he would tie into like specific political things or moments or decisions, but he actually spent a lot of time with Trump. So I was in another book written by Alan Sulkin, but Trump didn't have access to Trump, so that was kind of written like about him with an outside perspective, but Trump actually talked to him and gave interviews. So it's weird. It's like he's kind of walking the line of this relationship that he's built with Trump, and he's definitely clearly not like endorsing him or anything, but it's interesting because he says the thing that it's hard for a lot of people to say on The Apprentice, but I always say you end up liking him when you're around him. Like, I liked him a lot when I was around him. I had a good time. I found him personable. I had fun. And basically, like, the author gets to that. He says, like, no matter how like delusional he seemed, or if he was in a bad mood or a good mood or up or down through all the time, you know, regardless of, you know, his political beliefs, regardless of anything, even if you're like, oh my God, you know, if you disagree with everything politically, somehow he's just so engaging, and you just end up liking this man so much when you're around him that kind of comes across in the book. And I'm looking and I'm like, oh, it only has 3.4 stars, even though it just came out. So maybe some people are hating on it. This is the interesting thing. I feel like I did a New York Times Live once about Trump, and it was me and Nicole from The Apprentice, and she was definitely voting for him in a huge Trumpster. This is the first election. And I was like, you know, I had a great time with him on the show. I liked him, but here's what I wish he was doing differently while running for president. And the comments, even though we both said we had the same experience, like we both verified like all the same things happened. We both had like the same attitude mostly towards like the way he was and everything. We just had different views on like how certain presidential things should be handled, things he had said about that. And like a People magazine article came out, like, 2 apprentices have very different experiences of Donald Trump on The Apprentice. And we literally said we had like the same experience of him essentially. Yeah. And the reason why I'm saying that is because also in the New York Times live stream, they streamed it to Facebook too. And the comments, everybody who was Team Trump was just like, they hated me, and anything I said was negative, even if it was positive. And the people that were like hated Trump, hated her, and everything she said they wanted to invalidate. And Nicole's a smart person. And I'm like, I think the same thing is happening with this book. It's like, you're kind of damned if you do.
Did the book just come out this week?
Yep, it came out on June 18th.
Okay. So I'm wondering, like, if it's just a weird time for the book to come out anyways, right? Like, between he, like, just got convicted for, like, what, 34 felonies or something? I don't know. But we don't talk about politics on this show anyways, guys. We're here to talk about Jen's book because she was a writer, and reality TV. So
yeah. It's funny because it's interesting. I'm just reading some of the interviews. People gave it, like, a bunch of people gave it 1 star and a bunch of people gave it 5 stars. And the reason I was bringing that up is because I think how people receive it is going to be highly dependent on what they expected. If they expected pure praise of the man and they're huge fans, they might get annoyed at criticism or things revealing about him, or about he gets into how when writing the book, he gets into very much about how Trump wanted to talk about being president way more than he wanted to talk about. I'm not president. He wanted to talk about The Apprentice, and they watched the episodes together, every episode, and he was way more nostalgic about that. And he asked him about the presidential election. He did go on about, like, the election being stolen, and like expressed wanting to be president again, but was like, but back to The Apprentice. Like, his eyes lit up and got excited. And he doesn't criticize his politics. He just straight up gives like a view of how The Apprentice pushed him through. So I think people that love Trump are going to be like, oh, why isn't this book like cheerleading for Trump to be the best guy ever? And people that hate him are going to be like, why did you write a book for him that makes him seem at all like a human? So I feel like that's the message from the book almost is the reaction to the book, where it's interesting because I think the author was as honest as he could, and it's very accurate in a lot of things, and the observations are really keen. But I'm like, oh my God, I just realized how screwed you are if you try to be objective about a presidential candidate, especially someone as polarizing as Trump, because if you don't go all the way for him against him, you land in the middle with people being like, well, this book sucks because it didn't definitively say like he's the king or he should be killed.
Yeah, but it was just about The Apprentice anyways, right? Wasn't it a book just
it's about how that is what caused his rise to power. How before that he was basically New York famous. He was like in Home Alone 2, in some commercials. People knew his name, but he might be a household name in passing, but people weren't riveted to him. And then all of a sudden he gets this television show, and he has millions and millions of weekly viewers getting to know him as this decisive, charismatic, prime time television person. And he was in families' homes for years. He did this 6 seasons, then another, it was like 7 regular seasons, and then a few celebrity seasons. And people were really very like endeared to him during that. And a lot of those people ended up being people that still voted for him. And the book basically details how, like, without The Apprentice, obviously, he never would have been president, and like how and why, like what went on behind the scenes. How was he really like? They talk about like accusations against him. They get into stuff, just about how it really was. And it's kind of like an accurate depiction of like the chaos that was kind of The Apprentice. And that's so Apprentice fans might like it for that. People that are like politically, like, I don't want to hear about politics, because it does get into like a lot of behind the scenes stuff, like how Aubrey O'Day has said that she's hooked up with Don Jr. And in it, he says that Trump admits, like, he's like, oh yeah, I heard about that. And he's like, did you hear the song she wrote about it? And he's like, I've heard of it, but I haven't heard the song. So
Aubrey O'Day is supposed to be on another reality show.
Ooh, is she really? I love Aubrey O'Day.
I am obsessed with Aubrey O'Day. So apparently, so she did like the Big Brother.
Well, she did the Diddy show, Making of the Band, and now Diddy's so relevant that Aubrey's
true. Yeah, for all the wrong reasons.
Well, she's one of the
so she did Celebrity. So she's like a celebrity in her own right, though. Like, not just because of that show, but like. So
she was in Danity Kane after winning the Making the Band. She's exactly. A star, like super talented, super smart.
Yeah. And she did Celebrity Big Brother. And then I guess like she hasn't done anything for a while, like a really long time. But apparently she is trying to like redo her whole image and like I don't know, her whole brand or something. So anyways, the news is that she's going to be in a show that is going to reinvent her. And I don't know what that is, but I think it sounds awesome. I know what network, I don't know if I can say it, but
That's
But
exciting.
yeah,
I'm
it's
just
really
a
exciting.
huge fan of hers. Like, I just think
Me
she's
too.
awesome. Like, when I used to write the Apprentice recaps, like I was writing that like she should win this, and I knew she in the end it was like her versus Joan Rivers. I'm like, obviously Trump's not going to fire Joan Rivers. Like they're
No.
besties. Joan probably went on the show with a contingency, like you're never firing me or I'll kill you. Because that I know that stuff, and I don't care if they try to come after me for like you're breaking some NDA. Because I interviewed Gene Simmons, and I was talking to him about his firing, and he's like, "Oh no, I had to leave because I had to be." He was either on tour or he had a show gig, and I was like, "Oh, so you knew when you were leaving?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I knew which week I was being fired. They had to fire me. It was in my contract." So it's on a YouTube video. If you look up like Gene Simmons Apprentice and my name, like Jen Hoffman, there's still the YouTube interview with him where he's talking about how like basically some of the celebrities, but not all, had other commitments. So there were like times they knew they were going to be fired. They didn't know what the task was going to be or for what, but like they knew like this is my last week on it. So that's like a little.
Believe that they knew celebrities would be fired. I wonder if because it was like 2010, 2000, like the early 2000s, would that be? I just can't imagine them doing that now. Like, I just can't imagine that you signing a contract and then being like, okay, well, you can go home whenever. Like, if you need to go home, we'll just have you. Like, I just always am under the impression it's like
that still happens. I know I can't say which show, but somebody who we know also knows that that's true. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how much he told producers or if he just thought to himself, like, okay, I know I have an engagement during this time, so I'll just make sure that.
Oh, you're talking about House of Villains, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That I always wanted to know why he wanted to put himself on the block. But look, that situation, he made great television. And I don't think it was like part of his contract from what I've been like, I don't know what I've been assuming. I don't think it was like, I think it was just him like, hey, I've got to go home.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know what? It's also people are so much more empowered now with television since they have social media followings and they don't even necessarily always need TV. Someone like Bobby Light's like, yeah, if I have an engagement that's going to pay me possibly even more than the show or definitely more than the show, then I'll just make sure I'm out by this week or I'll storm out in a huff.
Right. But I do think reality TV still holds a lot of power. Like, I think reality TV holds more power than social media stars. But the problem is you can make more money doing other things than being on a show because you're not really paid that much. Even on a celebrity show, you're not paid.
That's a misconception.
That much.
People will always write to me, why do reality stars need to go on another like celebrity one, especially winners or you already got paid to appear on this or you must have gotten paid so much? And I'm like, nope, you don't get paid that much.
Yeah.
Like you get like your weekly stipend. Sometimes when they want to bring back somebody was either booked and they want to lure them away, they'll pay them a little bit more. But the pay is not what people think. It's not making people millionaires just being on the show. It's
not like even what they get paid for like SAG stuff. So like I think that's what Bethany Frankel's whole argument was about too, when she was like, reality TV needs a union, blah, blah, blah. But it's like the problem is like Bethany's Housewife franchise is in a totally different category than a competition show or a game show or a whatever other show. So I always like, I know what she's saying and I understand like their Housewives franchise or maybe like The Valley or, you know, a Pump Rules, whatever, like a docu-follow where you have the same cast. They come back every season. That's a little different. So it is a different situation.
Yeah.
It'd be easier for them to unionize and scripted.
Oh yeah, it'd be easier for them to come up with a union and policies and certain hours they work for that. But obviously if you're agreeing to be on something like Survivor or Big Brother where you're filmed 24/7, you know you're not leaving. There's no like it's this set hours and this.
Right.
And so, yeah, you're right. It's good. And I'm not sure Bethany even cares or has basically game show contestants, which legally that's what you are if you're on a reality show, in mind, because that's ruled by the FCC anyway. So it's like if that's ruled by game shows, then like that's probably like not even on her mind. She probably doesn't even. She's smart.
She's talking about her group of friends with the housewives and all that stuff. And she brought up great points. And I will say that I enjoyed listening to every podcast that she did about it. And I felt that she is so smart and that she did do a lot to create, because when you are on these shows, you do create a lot of, like, I came up with Floaters Grab a Life Vest. They didn't feed me that line, and it's one of the most famous lines on Big Brother. Like, we go into these shows, and although we are like being, there's editing that helps to tell the story, and then there's these different games that move it along. And
but you make the show.
Yes, 100%. You make the show.
Makes the show.
The characters on the show make the show. Like, I'll tell you one example. So in Love Island, since we are talking about it this week anyways. So this week in Love Island, the bombshells entered the villa, right? But like the guys, one of their quotes was like, "These are bombshells bombing." Like, I literally put it on my thing because I was like, oh my God, that's such a great quote. And it was just like the guys, the personalities and the cast make the show. Like, if you had different cast, they could be boring and they wouldn't have as good of a reaction. The girls are crying every week, the guys are crying. Like, this a full thing on this show on Love Island. And I feel like the cast does really make a difference. And so I do think again, going back to the original point, that reality TV, especially for like a Love Islander or something, while I was watching Love Island, I see Justine from Love Island in a Maybelline commercial. Like, how?
Oh yeah, a bunch of them are also in some other commercial. That
and they're and like, I know Bartice from like Love Is Blind, and a bunch of them did like some commercials for like cupcake wineries. So I think it's just like they're getting all these opportunities that you do get because you're on reality TV. And like the social media influencers, I don't think that they hold the same kind of like face or brand like recognition, right?
Not as wide. So I think within their niche, however we're going to say it, they do and they might. So there are some influencers who, whether it's like a mom person or a financial person or a health person that purely is like a social media star, they can make a ton of revenue. I mean, they can just blow reality stars out of the water in terms of what they're making, because they're making content now like a business with a whole funnel, with a whole, like there's a plan to it. Even if it seems like organic and I'm just showing you my day and going about whatever, there's a sales funnel to it and they're making money from it. But they don't have the same, I think, that like striking all-star power. Like, you still don't see like, except for very few of them, unless they like get arrested or harm their kids, or like certain YouTubers like Mr. Beast are so big. But look, he's even going to regular reality TV through Prime. Some of them are so big they'll get coverage, but I mean, it's so niched down that it's not as wide as like, oh, somebody watching Netflix. Like, so many people have Netflix, so you're going to recognize a Netflix star if you see them out. They're going to get treated like a celebrity. So many people have Peacock, so traders, people are going to
like the winner of The Circle this past season, he got a deal for like 50 grand with Sam Adams beer. And I thought that was so epic, but I was like, that goes to show you he doesn't have a huge following on TikTok. He doesn't have a huge following on Instagram. But it's like a great following, but it's not huge. But I just thought that was so interesting. Oh, Hannah Horn wants to know, have we watched Netflix Dallas Cowboys cheerleader documentary, America's Sweethearts, Rachel and Jen? That's on my list of things to watch. I haven't watched it yet, but like, being a cheerleader, and I cheered professionally, I do want to I'm like really excited to watch that. I
didn't know you cheerleader.
It's going to be dialed back a lot because it's such a big brand, and their brand is the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader name. They're always like, all the other stuff that's come out about Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders ever on TV or like, when they had that other Dallas Cowboy, like making the cheerleading squad.
I remember that. Yeah.
I watched that one and I loved it. But it's like they dial it back. They're not like, it's not like.
We'll see though, because Netflix now is going through so much stuff. A bunch of docuseries that they've made that people have either participated in or have had made about them, they are unhappy with. Like, Netflix is going through a lot of stuff. I can't talk about any of it right now. When I know more stuff, I'll talk about it on here, but
TT.
yeah, and this is not reality. This is docu-series, but there's a few. I like knew somebody personally, then heard about something else. Then somebody gave me a call about another thing about this, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a bunch of the docu-series people that either some people that willingly participated and other people that had one made about them that are.
I've heard the people that have had ones made about them aren't always happy.
Even people that have participated are like, that's not what was in this contract. So, or have felt misled. That's just like, it's beyond rumor mill because I have a little bit of confirmation, but I can't really talk about it yet just because I don't know what's going to happen with it.
Okay.
I think they're contending.
Jen, speaking of the documentaries and gossip and bombshells, Shima from Big Brother was on Dateline this week. And so,
oh my God.
It was on Peacock, on NBC Universal. You can stream it. It was about the, what was the guy's name? He was the Texas, what did they call him? The
bathtub killer or something, murder, or it was, I don't even remember what it was. I mean, I was so like, oh my God, because I didn't know Shima went through that, because you and I both know her in real life. So I was like, what? Like, you know, when I met her post that. This happened in 1999, but there was a guy when she was living in Texas and going to school there, murdering women. And his MO was like raping and killing them in bathtubs. And she
in dorm, like apartments where college girls lived.
Yeah. And she was a victim who survived. And that was so shocking. I did not know that about her life. And, you know, she went back and obviously had to probably relive a horrible trauma, but, you know, it was part of this Dateline thing, which is just, I just had no idea about that.
Did an interview on the show. So I'm guessing because she participated in the show that she was very comfortable talking about it. And I reached out to her to ask her to come on the podcast, but I didn't get a response. So if anyone knows if Shima changed her number, I don't know. But like, I did reach out to her and I wanted to just like go through questions with her about like, what was that? Because I do remember talking to her about that. I rode with her one time from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. And we also we had been like, I want to say friends, like we were like acquaintances. We had like kept in touch after I did Big Brother, talking about different things. And I do remember her talking about that experience in her casting process and talking about that to me. And then she was also talking about that a little bit on the show, but not in depth. So I wanted to know like if she felt like this was like, I mean, I know this was just about that bathtub killer, but like, I always wondered like if she felt like she wanted to discuss that more on the show, or if like that led her to like different experiences that she had on the show. And I wonder like, I don't know, like just through like if you know about that, like it's just such a crazy, intense thing to happen, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I can't even believe that she went through that, and she's you know,
so brave. Hannah said that she's so brave, and I know she's so brave, and like, I just can't even imagine like what she went through, and then to have to like reshare it. Yeah, like you said, like bringing up all those traumatic events again. It's just like crazy, but yes. And so, did we see Simone Biles documentary? I haven't seen that one yet. I'll have to check that one. There's a lot that I need to clearly catch up on. I've been watching Love Island and Love Island.
Oh yeah, back to Love Island. I was going to answer Hannah's thing. I was a high school cheerleader, then I was a cheerleading coach after that, so I'm excited to see it. But the reason why I'm so spacey today is I was going to watch it I couldn't sleep last night. So I gave up at like 2:30 a.m. and I went in my living room and I turned on Shark Tank because I was like, that'll kind of lull me to sleep. I feel like I've seen every episode, especially the old ones. And I ended up like watching Shark Tank till 6 a.m. when the alarm went off to get my daughter ready for school. But the first thing I had queued up was that documentary, the Dallas Cowboys one. I wanted to watch that, but I was like, no, that's going to keep me awake because I'm going to be excited about it and want to watch it. But then I ended up like wide-eyed watching deals on Shark Tank and had 0 minutes even of sleep last night. So that's why right now I'm like way more spacey than usual because I'm on team no sleep, and yeah.
I don't feel like you're acting spacey at all.
I feel like it.
Spacey. So, okay, this week on Love Island was crazy. They are really racy this year. I mean, it's always racy on Love Island, but like, wow, they are like full out. Like, I was like, I could not, like, usually with Love Island, I'm like, it's not a kid show. Like, the kids need to go to bed. I can watch Love Island.
Yeah.
But like, this week I was like, oh my gosh, I need a blindfold. Like, so it was like, they had this like lingerie competition. They had a blindfold kissing one. And they were right. The bombshells that came into the Love Island villa were so good looking. So they've had, I mean, I will say like Love Island, they always have good looking people. Obviously it's Love Island, but this season has been like exceptionally like really good looking people. And that's why I wonder if like the emotions are so intense and like everything. But they're just like very good looking girls that just came in. And so they are like kind of running the shows. All the guys are laughing like little boys around the girls. Like it is just blowing my mind about did you catch up on it or have you seen?
Yeah, I think I must have missed the last two because I was waiting for the new episode to come out. So I think I missed the last two girls coming in because the last one I saw is
they just came out. Yeah.
Okay. I think the last one I saw is when the really good looking but didn't have much to say guy got sent.
No, Rob was one of the originals. Which one?
Oh no, I didn't see anything happen with Rob. I saw when one of the bombshells didn't get picked.
Yeah, and now Kendall and oh my gosh, what's her name? Broke up. So they just broke up because she was like, I just can't do it. Kendall is like 21. He is like acts like a 21-year-old boy, and you know, like when you're 21-year-old, like the 21-year-old boys act like 21-year-old boys. You know what I mean? Totally. Like he's like, it's not that he's immature, but like every time he talks to a girl, like they're like, tell me about what your aspirations are in life. And he's like, I'm a model. I want to be a famous. And like, like that is for me, I would be like, no, thank you. But like,
because they kind of all want that and they all are in that zone. So
yeah, but you like don't have to say it.
Well, I know. I mean, one girl's a bottle service girl. I mean, you know, so if your aspiration, which is nothing wrong with that either. I mean,
no,
you know,
for sure.
You gotta make money while you're doing whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like they love that on that show. Like the girls there don't care. Like their dream people are like sports players, even if they're ones that don't make a ton of money, like UK footy players, like football players, but not even like top ones that are like, you know, on some like kind of unknown team in some country.
Did you watch Peacock's show where they were all football players from around the world?
I haven't seen that one yet, where they're secretly football players, and they pretend that they're like a janitor, like a custodian.
I didn't think I would like it, and I like was not sure what to expect, but I ended up liking it, and it ended up being really good. It was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. Like I thought it would just be a silly thing, and like when the girls found out, it would be whatever. But like I feel like they probably made genuine connections, and I have to look it up. I wonder if these couples are still together. We need like answers. We need to know if they're still together. This needs to be the thing. See, this is what we should do on our podcast is like figure out like a real reality TV gossip that they don't cover in the news all the time because it's not like mainstream enough or whatever. Like even just like I want to know what happens after the circle is done. Like I have to get all my gossip from my friend Michael, who is friends with like one of the girls from the circle last season, and I have to get gossip about. Speaking of gossip, did you know that on season 3 of The Traitors, apparently Wes from the challenge and Derek Lavoisier come in as like a challenge part, like late in the game? Yeah, apparently, according to the internet. Yeah, so they might have like extra people coming in throughout the game. I don't know
how they had Dr. Will make an appearance one time, and but
they're like gonna play. Dr. Will did make an appearance.
Oh, like they're gonna play, not just kind of like introduce the game or whatever.
Apparently, they're like gonna play the game. Yeah, so it's like I don't know, like apparently it's all over the internet, and apparently they're gonna play the game, and it's like, It's supposed to be very exciting and interesting because obviously they're probably coming in as not players, right? I don't know. So, okay, should we move on to what's casting this week? I don't know. I feel like we're just talking so much about TV and everything else. What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's move on to casting. We didn't come up with a game plan today because I, marathon Shark Tank and had no brain, and we watched so much of it that we're like, which one do we talk about? So,
Well, I do have one quote for you. My one game quote. Yeah, there's lots of bugs. You just swish them off.
Which show is that from? So
which show is that from? You have to guess.
Was that on Perfect Match one?
No.
Or Love Island person?
It was a Love Island person.
Oh, I don't know who even said that, but I haven't seen the last episode.
Quotes, but so Kendall's talking to Andrea, and she's like, "Oh my God, there's bugs!" And he's like, "Oh yeah, there's a lot of bugs here. You just have to like swish them off." Like he's like no big dealing about the bugs.
Yeah.
Like she's not having the bugs. She's like not having the bug situation, but like they're on an island, so
yeah.
What do you think?
You also have to expect it.
Yeah.
That said, they live in a villa on an island. It's not like it's Survivor or like Deal or No Deal Island, where like they're kind of like, Survivor's hardcore. Deal or No Deal Island, it's like halvesies. It's like they're living in like a cabana on the island, but like they're in a beautiful, gorgeous villa on a beach.
Right, exactly.
Even though it's technically living on an island, it's like you're living in a mansion on a beach.
Right, 100%. Like but there's still going to be bugs. You're outside. Okay, so casting right now. Okay, so I am working on this survival show. So now I'm working on it. We talked about it last week. I got to get to work on it this week. Very exciting. So what we're looking for are family members, teams of 3. It could be any combination of family members. It's really a cool show. There's a huge cash prize. It's for a major network. If I wasn't working on it, I would love to be on this show. I envision it as being one of the next big reality competition shows. The way that it sounds like it's going to be a really big hit. It's a very family-friendly show. So if you are watching, if you have a family member that you want to do a reality competition show with, an adventure show, you have to message us because honestly, it is it's going to be such a great show. And then tips for that is just message me and I'll help you. That's your tip. There you go. There's a tip. Okay. Now there's the holiday baking cook-off coming up. So I'm guessing that this is at jscasting.com. So if your family are, the best cooks, competing in a culinary
it's a family bake-off.
Yeah. 3 family members with culinary chops. So it doesn't have to be like cookies. It could be like pasta or, like a strudel or whatever people that eat at the holidays.
Oh, that's good to know. So it doesn't have to be a sweet baking. It can be savory treats like casseroles and holiday dishes because, I guess if it's holidays like Christmas, Thanksgiving,
exactly.
I was about to say Hanukkah and I was like, I don't know if I've ever had a casserole at Hanukkah.
Probably. Don't you at Hanukkah, don't they have the egg noodle one? What is the egg
I
noodle?
never do a proper Hanukkah straight, like Passover. Okay. That I've had, we'll do straight, but like Hanukkah, I've never done the kugel or whatever. I mean, I've eaten in my life. I've eaten them, but I've never done like a proper, like all the nights of Hanukkah. I've lit the candles. I've lit a menorah for each, but I've never like properly. I'm half Jewish, so it always ends up kind of like Team Christmas.
We did our full menorah this year. So we're trying to teach Adora and we're working on it. It's Adler doesn't really, they're so young when they're that young, they can't get it, but we're learning. So we're all working on it, but we did do the full menorah this year. And we did the little games and we, talk about it. We get PJ Library. Do you get PJ Library?
No.
Oh my God, it's free. You have to get it.
I know. Now I will. Now that I didn't even know about that.
What? And they send you games and books every month. And they send you Adora's godfather got us set up with the account. Yeah, it's the best thing ever. Oh, and they teach you little stories and everything. Yeah, we love it. It's really fun.
Okay.
So with this show, I think to work on this show, I think you should I don't know. Like, I think probably you want to come with a dish that is very like, first of all, have your family together at like
Talk about what the holidays
talk
mean
about what
to
the holidays mean
you,
to you.
why this dish matters for the holidays.
Yes.
Was it passed down through generations? Did you invent it? Was there ever a disaster with it? Did it go wrong? Is it part of your heritage? Is it just something random? Is it something you do that's unique? Are you the best at making it?
Yes.
Was your great grandmother famous in the
Yes.
town for making it?
Exactly. I think a very story driven, like come together family moment that like puts you like that can put people in that moment.
Yes. Or is it some dish that's so wild that people would be like, that's gross. That's like very amazing. Like one example is I had cheesecake that was with blue cheese and salt and pepper
Oh,
on
that
top
sounds really
once. And
good.
I was like, and I don't really like cheesecake that much at all. And
Yeah.
that was like the best cheesecake I ever had. I was in Cowboy Chow in Chicago, in Scottsdale. And it was so good. So I feel like something like unique like that too, if you're baking something that people at home not like to be grossed out on purpose, but you're like, this is our unique thing that we have at our holidays, and people would be like, what? I think that will get you a little bonus too, maybe.
Ooh, okay. I love that. I'll have to try blue cheesecake. That sounds really good. But yes, I think 100% if they have a good memory or anything that is like a unique story. This one also is a competition show. So if big personalities have a lot of energy, that's what they love for these competition shows. If you have matching outfits, wear them. And like, listen, you can make them. Like, they love matching outfits.
Yes.
Just like cute and fun stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a casting for homeowners in Los Angeles County, highnoontv.com. So they're looking for, you have to have a $30,000 budget, but it's a renovation show. And you have to have 2 rooms within the home. And so it says, live within a 40-mile radius to Los Angeles. I actually posted this on my Instagram yesterday in a reel I did. And I had like a bunch of my friends in LA that were like reaching out. And they're like, hey, I need a makeover on my home.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not casting it, but like, you should definitely reach out. And for this one, again, story, like why do you absolutely need it at this point? Like, are you having relatives come soon? Are you like, is your kid,
a new baby coming?
Like school, even like, you know, I'm trying to get it done before school, whatever. But yeah, new baby is always great. Marriage, like we just got married, we bought the house. Like,
starting a side hustle and you need an office because you decided to like, you just quit your job and have started a side hustle. So you need them to turn your extra dining room into, we all eat in the kitchen. We have this dining room. I'm going to turn it into my home office because of XYZ, you know?
Or like another good one I would do would be like, my husband is always working on renovation projects in my house. So like they're half done. So I would be like, half done renovation project. I feel like that always, they love those things where it's like, you took out the light and you took down the wallpaper, but like you took a wall down, but now what are you doing? So that I think would be a good tip. Let's see. This one is Elite Families of Arkansas. So I don't know anything about this, but I'm assuming it sounds housewifey, right? Yeah,
definitely like housewifey. But if it's the whole family, then maybe they're trying to do a little bit like that Crisley Knows Best type. Like a even like family with personality,
right? Or what was that show? The show about it in Atlanta around the lake. Oh my gosh, can't think of it. It was like,
oh, I remember. It was but it was younger people, right?
Younger kids. Yeah, they were like in their 30s.
They were like wealthy young people. Like it was basically like Jersey Shore, but around the lake at Atlanta. But it was like rich kids of Instagram, or it's rich kids of
like a rich kids of Beverly Hills,
Jersey Shore at some lake in Atlanta, and it was actually really
Buckhead.
Yes, that was a good one. It was good
in Buckhead. Yes.
Yeah.
So for a show like this, I think you want to talk about how your family is unique, who your friends are, if you know celebrities, if you do like, we go horseback riding every day. Like, life of luxury, ladies
Yes.
who lunch.
Like, are there nannies for every single
Yeah.
baby? Are there 2 nannies per kid? How much do you spend? What do you drive? Where do you socialize? Who are your friends? Who won't you socialize with?
Yes.
What are the yeses, and talk about your yeses and nos and your must have. And also, since it's for Arkansas, I would really lay on thick the like what's unique about being wealthy in Arkansas, because people will associate it with like backwoods type stuff. So it's like, well, Arkansas rich means this, and this is what my family has based on this. And it could be something totally different that like you don't know, because you're living your life. So if you're in Arkansas right now, you like may assume that people know a thing is a thing. But if you're like, oh no, in Arkansas, every single baby shower, we do this extravagant thing, or everyone has to have this type of room or this type of thing, or a boat that does this, or whatever it is, like give us the Arkansas deets too that make it unique, and like why being an elite person in Arkansas, like what are some signature things of that?
And maybe there's like also maybe there's like a lake that everyone in Arkansas goes to, and
if anybody here lives in Arkansas, leave a comment, because I feel like I know somebody from every state, and I don't think I know anybody from Arkansas.
Some boys say, I really enjoyed this podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's see. And I'm going back to find our next up in casting. So, Netflix Barbecue Showdown is casting for future seasons, which is very exciting because it's All 3 Media, which is a great company. I love Barbecue Showdown. It's a really fun show. I love all these barbecue cooking shows because I try to get my husband to do barbecue cook-offs. I really wanted us to enter one as a family, and he was like, no.
Why not?
I don't know. That's what I said.
Is he done? Does he not want to do any more TV?
He does. But no, I wanted us to enter a local barbecue contest, not even for television, just like a local barbecue, because they're so fun. And like, I'm telling you, when you go to these barbecue contests, it's like a fun event. It's not just like the local ones. I got turned on to it when I was casting MasterChef Junior. Mm-hmm. So I was working on MasterChef Junior, and they were like, do you know, like, there's like these little mini pit bosses? And I was like, stop. And they're like, no, really, there's mini pit bosses. So I looked it up. I got into the culture, and I was like, oh my God, I love these people. Like, they're so cute. And these like 11-year-old kids are like smoking a brisket for like 12 hours. And like, they're just like, they season it, and they do all the
fun.
So fun. So I told Brendan, I was like, we should just enter one, because it's not about like winning or losing. It's not about like doing a good job, because like, it's meat. Like, I don't know, can you mess it up? You probably can. Like, I probably would mess it up, but like, I told him, I was like, look, it will be fun, like a family thing we do together. People just hang out the whole day. They usually have bands come and like just like fun live music. Mm-hmm. So I hope it'll be fun. And so Barbecue Showdown, back to like life. Barbecue Showdown is such a fun show, because they show like all these pit masters that are like, doing different spices and sauces and all the things, and like rubs, and there's so many things you didn't even know, and like it does make a difference in meat, right? But like, I didn't know that. I didn't know you had to smoke things for like 15 hours. Like people like really get into it, especially in the South. And did you know there's different barbecue sauces for every like region?
Yeah, I didn't know that until I watched I did know about the different ones for different regions, because I used to travel a lot with somebody who I dated once. I traveled a lot with his family, and his father absolutely loved barbecue. So where we'd go, we'd get the barbecue there, and he would be like, okay, they're famous for this sauce. And he knew all the stuff. So we get super excited. That's the only reason I really knew. And then I watched a show about barbecue, and now I don't remember which one it was. It definitely wasn't this one. And then I learned more about it. So while I personally have never done it, and I would be terrible at it, I did learn about all these different like regional kind of cool things.
Oh yeah. See, I feel like, and like there, okay, you have to learn about, there's the Alabama sauce that like I didn't know about until I got here. Then there's like Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas.
Yeah.
But then there's like West Texas, East Texas, South Texas, Middle Texas. I'm like, why are there so many Texas sauces? But there's like 100,000 different sauces. So it's like a full thing. So if you're a barbecue person, you have to get your family involved in that one too. And there's a big cash prize on that one too. It's a really fun show. All right, so a print campaign for Downtown Disney, multi-generational families, groups of friends. Go to downtowndisney.castingcrane.com. This is a little bit different. It's not a show. It's just a campaign. But I mean, I would.
That's cute.
That's so cute,
fun,
right? Yeah. I know. Multi-generational, so that means like grandma, kid, and adult or whatever.
Yeah.
Baby, the adult, and like the aunt that's older. Whatever, however you spice it up. And I think okay. So then this one is an alcohol-free documentary with Andy Ramage. That it's called alcoholfreedocumentary@gmail.com. Yeah, so it's not for people that identify as alcoholic or alcohol free. So I don't really know anything about it, but we said we'll share.
Looking for folks to take it's like Sober October, basically.
Okay.
So it's looking for people to take a 28 to 30 day break from alcohol. So it's probably going to air in October. It's probably going to be called something like a Sober October or be something like that, where they're going to probably be like, how do people look and feel and act different after 30 days of no alcohol? And it's not like intervention style alcoholics. It's probably going to be like, you should apply for that if you have a glass of wine every single night, or if maybe you're like a weekend warrior and you go hard with your friends on the weekend, or maybe like you have a couple beers every day, but like you're not a problem, because they're not obviously looking to like rehab people here. I think they're looking to see like the difference it makes in people's health and life.
Yeah. And do you know this Andy Ramage?
No, I don't know that, but I know that there's been a couple people pitching shows about that topic. And
it's like a trendy topic.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what his landed on, but I do know that there were a bunch of people pitching a show like for a Sober October type thing to like, and some of them wanted to get even more like where they measure everyone and weigh everyone and take their heart and their cholesterol and their stats and their mood and do all that and then see how they are after 30 days. And then some were just more like about like the social aspects. So it's been in the ether that show like that will happen, but I have no idea who that human is and I don't know about that show.
Me either. I don't know about the show. Layla said hi. Hey Layla. So yeah, I don't know anything about that show either, but I think that it sounds really fun and interesting. Not fun. I don't know if it's fun, but interesting. Cool. So do you have any reality TV gossip, Jen, that anything else you want to cover?
The one thing I was going to say, since we didn't really get too much into Perfect Match right now, is if people wanted a spoiler, a story just dropped about Harry and Jess, who are probably the most controversial and famous couple in the house, because obviously we have Jess from Love is Blind, who kind of got like jilted in the pods, like beautiful, stunning person, and then Harry, who's like, the well-known kind of man whore, like hopping to everyone, has slept with everyone, and him trying to convince her that he can be like, a one-woman kind of guy. And you're left with this thing where Melinda comes in and says that he kissed her. We don't know what's happening. And then in real life, he has his own podcast. I guess he is on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, is he right now?
The next one that's coming out, I don't know if it's filming now.
Okay.
I don't know if it's currently filming or if it's wrapped filming. And I know that somehow that played into interference with their relationship. So like he didn't spoil whether they ended it together on the show, although I think maybe the last episode might have dropped today or another one did. So maybe people will know by the time I'm saying this. Because I knew a new episode was coming out today. I'm so excited to watch it, but I don't know if it's the last one. But they were still together, but she was kind of on the fence because of what she heard from Melinda. But there were rumors that he started dating the dancer that he was paired with. And that
who's he paired with?
I don't know the show, so I don't remember her name. And I think it begins with an R.
Oh, I'm going to Google it right now for us.
And there were rumors that they started hooking up. And that drove a wedge between him and Jess, and that he admitted to begging her, saying like, you can call her on the phone and like ask her, I will profess my love for you to her. Like, I don't know if that's because he did cheat and was trying to say he wasn't going to do it again, or if he was saying nothing happened with her. It's just rumors. But that indicates that like that they probably do either stay together on the show or they got together after the show and then he went on Dancing with the Stars and he did drop that spoiler that we at least know that him and Jess survive in some capacity, either on the show or outside of the show. And this whole Dancing with the Stars thing, he was trying to explain it and saying that he loves Jess, and he even bought an engagement. He bought an engagement ring for her, and he said he was gonna either she can go through all of his Instagram messages, have his passwords, have passwords to his bank accounts, monitor every single thing he does, so she would trust him, unfollow every single girl on Instagram. Like, he was going to great lengths. And it had something to do with another issue of mistrust having to do with him being on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's juicy.
Yeah.
And she's so, I mean, I want to root for her so bad.
I love
like
her
daughter, I love all of her stories. Like, give her her own show.
Yes.
Don't
I want the Bachelorette
like immature dudes. I'm done with them.
Yeah.
We're done with all of these guys that treat her like crap.
Yeah. There needs to be, like, since she's already in the Netflix world, there needs to be a Netflix show that they come up with, like, a Bachelorette that she's the star of, their own version of it. And it's like, and they should literally just call it Who's Good Enough to Date Jess? Because I'm like, none of you.
Yes. I like that. I love it. Yeah. Oh, there's so many comments in the chat. Also, the new Get Out show on Hulu dropped. The cast dropped.
Whoa.
Yeah. Did you see this?
No.
Cynthia Bailey, Kim Zolciak, Jill from Outlast, Demi from The Bachelor, Claire from Bachelor, Susan from the Golden Bachelor. All these people. I mean, there's so many good people. And then Steve, you know
Omarosa,
Steve, right, from People Magazine. Do you know Steve?
Omarosa, and also Spencer Pratt. I always love the return of Spencer Pratt. Remember when Spencer Pratt walked into House of Villains and like nobody knew who he was, or only the OGs knew who he was?
That was amazing. That was my favorite.
Younger people were like, who are you? I'm like, I love Spencer. How dare you?
Yeah. Oh my God. So what do you think? That is just like the craziest.
That's a very wild. I don't know what the show's even about though.
So they go into a mansion and they have to get out. I'm guessing it's
like escape room style.
Yeah, I'm guessing like escape room meets like traders. So, okay, also, by the way, Val from Dancing with the Stars, he's a get. Rashad he's a famous NFL player. Get, again. Shane is a get. Steve is from People Magazine. Do you know Steve? I feel like you've run in circles. You must have met Steve.
I don't know if I remember Steve.
He's a journalist from People Magazine. He's a great guy. Like, I love him. He's a family guy. He's like really like a great writer, but also he's just like such a nice guy. He does all of our Give Kids the World events that we used to do in Florida, but he writes for People. He's like, I feel like he's in the know. He's up in the game. So that's interesting because everyone's famous, but this Athena chick. And I'm like, who is she? Why is she on this show? Like, Lindsay is Miss Earth. There's no way it's like half reality stars, half normal people, because the normal people are not normal people.
He's a journalist, like there's a sports player, right? Yeah. That's interesting. I like how they have a journalist on it. Since I've kind of transitioned from reality TV to journalism, I'm like, ooh, do I get to go on a show and I was a journalist?
Yes. Like, fun. Journalist is definitely a title. Like, it's a thing. But it is interesting. I wonder if there's more people that Rachel, can you see comments? Yes, I see comments. Layla, we do see the comments. And I know you said that you were asking Stephanie about me yesterday. I don't know what that means. Oh, hey, Shay's World TV. Hey, Shay. Hi. She said, hey, Rachel and Jen. So, yeah, like, apparently this cast is, like, leave in the comments. Let us know what you think about this cast. I mean, this is, like, a cast. First of all, you're going to put Omarosa in there. Like, she's going to tear shit up with Jill. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
Are they going to kill each other? Are they going to murder each other? Jill is like a fight. Did you watch Outlast?
No.
What?
Wait, maybe I did.
Okay, you watch Outlast and then you
yes. That's the one where they get to decide. You have to be part of a team and it's kind of like Survivor-ish, but if you're on your own, you're out.
Well, you're already on your own. They're all kind of like on their own. So it's like you have to outlast, but they're in like
was she the one who was like no to the one guy who he needed their help or else he was gonna like basically
yes.
Yeah, I know totally who she is.
And
oh my God.
She was like sabotaging people's tents.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was like, there's no rules out here.
Yeah, there's no rules. Yeah, they had no rules. They just dropped him off in the middle. Like, I want to say it was like British Columbia or something, but it was like they were eating mussels, like little mollusks or something. And
yeah, I totally remember her. And she is somebody who would be somebody from a show that maybe like isn't one of those huge shows, but can go toe to toe with Omarosa, will not be afraid of her. And
no,
I
will not be afraid of Omarosa.
No, that's going to be wild. Oh my God. Now that I realize who she is, that Jill was one of the wildest people I've ever seen on reality television.
I can't even imagine. And then because Kim is such an attention like grabber, if they're fighting, like Kim's going to try to be in it. And like, I feel like they're going to make Cynthia look tame. Like, it's just like, I don't even know, like, frankly, with this cast, like, this is my prediction. Okay, look at this cast again. So we have all these, like, okay, like, Demi is, like, very sweet. Susan's very sweet. Claire's very sweet. Like, the top 4 girls are just going to be running this entire show. And, like, maybe the guys will, like, sneak in the back. But, like,
that's what I was just thinking. I was like, these women are, like very outspoken, aggressive women, and a lot of those guys are like softer or like have a reputation to uphold. Like there's a journalist, there's like a professional football player,
and like Miss Earth, like she's not gonna like yell at Omarosa, like
no.
So we're literally going to have like it's gonna be insane. I just can't even imagine. I just can't even think in my head.
Fine. I'm obsessed with all these reality show all-star matchups, so I love it. Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. It said, I don't know if this cast what will bring, but I assure you, Omarosa and Kim are gonna. Oh my God, yeah, Omarosa and Kim are gonna go head to head. But this is what I'm thinking. Like, okay, Jill is just gonna just do something.
You have not seen this show; it's worthwhile. I mean, I loved that show, but just watching Jill be like ruthless and be like. Coming in, you think like people are first time on reality, they're gonna be like this, and she was like, "Nope, there are no rules. I make the rules. Like I'm going to just do whatever I want." Like she just like she made television.
Yeah. Like it, and it's gonna be so crazy because Kim Zolciak, like, first of all, are Kim and Cynthia friends? I don't even think Kim and Cynthia are friends. I feel like they had some beef like a few years ago. So just like in general, it's gonna just be like it's just going to be a hot mess express and we're going to love it. And we're going to watch every moment and talk about it and just like eat it up. I'm so excited. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate everyone in the chat and we love you all. And thank you everyone for saying, leaving all these great comments and watching and hanging out with us for the past hour. Jen and I have to run. Jen has to like get her kids and I have like to go cast you on some reality shows.
Yeah. All right. We will see you next week.
Yes, next week. Same question. I said same question. Same time. I was reading one of the comments. It says, Rachel, I have a question. I was like, yes. What is your question? But yeah, we will see you next week at 12 o'clock-ish Eastern time. Many thanks to all of you and leave us messages. You can leave messages on our YouTube channel and we read them all so you don't have to worry about it. But we appreciate you all and we want to say bye. 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 Oh, and you can follow us. I'm sorry, Jen, where can we follow you?
Oh, on Instagram, I'm at Jen Hoffman HI, Jen Hoffman High. And I don't even do Twitter or X anymore. That's my biggest thing, but I'm at Jen Hoffman there. But just, you know what? Like and subscribe to this and I'm happy.
Like and subscribe to us. We would appreciate it a lot.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.